Tonight on CTV News at 6. What is it?
Everybody had touched it. Were kids up at the park playing in it?
People in the greater Sudbury community of Falconbridge woke up to this yesterday. The Premier isn't a fan of them.
Instead of punishing people retroactively with speeding tickets days or weeks after the fact,
Doug Ford is planning to introduce legislation to ban speed cameras. And they were going door to door.
Makes you feel good. Makes you feel good that we can help the community as a school and do our part.
Students from a North Bay high school were collecting donations to help the local food bank.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you were with us on this Thursday, September 25th. Striking college support staff had some visitors on the picket lines in Sudbury today. Provincial NDP leader Marit Stiles was joined by local MPPs Jamie West and Frank Gelina to support the workers, along with OPSU President J.P. Hornick. Mediation between OPSU and the College Employer Council is set to start Friday, with some key issues not being met on both sides. Despite that, there was optimism on the picket line this afternoon.
I am very optimistic about the fact that the CEC has accepted to return to the table. I hope that we have a great bargaining team, and I hope that our bargaining team will get us the fair contract.
We need to have a frank and open discussion about what's actually happening in the system and what they know is coming, so that we can work together to help mitigate it and ensure that Ontario's college system remains public, accessible, and affordable.
You know, I think, as I understand it, everybody here wants to get a deal. They want to get a decent deal, but they want to be treated with respect and dignity, and they think, you know, they could be back in with a deal if the employer's back at the table and treating them with respect and dignity.
The College Employer Council saying yesterday it learned OPSU was seeking mediation through the media and that it's put forward more than $145 million in improved wages, benefits, and job security, adding it has advised OPSU of issues it cannot accept. We hope with the assistance of a government mediator, we will be able to secure a fair deal that balances the needs of employees, students, and the long-term sustainability of the college system.
Merci Patricia et bonjour tout le monde. C'est un honneur de me joindre à vous. Thank you and I hope you enjoy.
Meanwhile, at an event honoring the Franco-Ontarian flag, Nolan Quinn, the Minister of Colleges, Universities, Research Excellence and Security, was booed as he stepped up to give his speech, some in the audience turning their backs to him as he spoke. The chair of the Canadian Federation of Students Ontario said several bills the Ford government wants to pass are attacking education, and students won't get caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, ultimately, like, the government continues to attack education from every corner. So we're seeing multiple cuts to the program sector. We're also seeing Bill 33, the introduction of legislation of the provincial government that is trying to impose sweeping legislation across the entirety of the education sector at all levels. And we're seeing the government trying to attempt to create a divide between workers and students, and we're not going to stand for that.
And college support workers have been on the picket line for 2 weeks. Residents in the greater Sudbury community of Falconbridge woke up yesterday to a film of black dust. Details are still emerging about what it is, but residents now know where it came from. CTV's Alana Everson has more.
Falconbridge homeowner Rhonda Lalonde shows us the black reddish dust that covered her yard and truck. She discovered it Wednesday morning and was immediately concerned.
Everybody had touched it. Were kids up at the park playing in it? My dogs went outside and took a drink out of their outside water bowl. I don't look at their outside water bowl on a daily basis. I'm just concerned on, the lack of information.
In a statement, Glencore says a dust release occurred from the Sudbury smelter Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. The smelter and Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks have taken samples to fully understand the material. The company says it also reported the incident to Public Health Sudbury and districts, but Public Health says They first heard about the incident from community members around 4 p.m. Wednesday.
Which we started talking to community members and realizing through social media feeds that there was an issue going on in Falconbridge. At that point, then we reached out to contacts with the Ministry of Environment, Conservation Parks, and further then later contacts at Glencore to get more information on the situation.
Public Health has issued precautions for residents of Falconbridge, including using protective equipment when cleaning dust from properties, not to eat affected garden produce, keep children and pets from playing in affected areas, and turn off air conditioners and furnaces until further notice. For residents and the local city councillor, there are certainly more questions than answers right now.
Feeling very unsafe right now, like almost gaslighted by the company because they're doing their due diligence every week to do these safety checks in the community with the alarm systems and all of that. If this is an emergency or this is an urgent situation, those communication protocols should have been followed.
They need to be more diligent with what is happening in the future. Technology should and does allow for them to have proper safety protocols.
Glencore says it's offering vouchers for vehicle cleaning and supporting residents in determining additional cleaning needs. Our cameras captured cleaning crews in the community on Thursday. Public Health says it's awaiting test results from Glencore and the Ministry of the Environment, but doesn't know when it will receive them. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
A frightening scene near Timiskaming Shores today. Provincial police say a child was transported to hospital after they were struck by a vehicle. It happened just before 8 a.m. on Highway 569 in Harley Township. Police say the child was crossing the road to get onto a school bus when the kid was struck by a vehicle. The child has serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the school bus had its stop arm out and flashing lights activated at the time. The driver failed to remain at the scene. Officers are looking for that driver and a vehicle that's described as a dark-colored sedan with possible front-end damage. All right, a pretty nice Thursday out there. Some sunshine and decent temperatures. It's time for our first check on weather. With more, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Tony, you're right. You've got a beautiful picture right behind you on the news desk for tonight, and we've got some sunshine in the forecast. So that's the breaking news right now for those of you who may have missed that 5 o'clock forecast. Our systems map chances of getting a sprinkle tonight overnight look pretty good right now. That trend will continue into tomorrow, but we do have a load of sunshine coming up starting unequivocally on Sunday, and we've got a good streak of 4 or 5 days for next week. But we're going to get through this period of 24, 48 hours where there might be a chance of showers, the odd sunny break, but some warmer temperatures. So details, Tony, coming up a little bit later on.
Thanks so much, Rick. The 21st Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Run began today. Known as the Run to Remember, the event has representatives from various police organizations across the country run in memory of fallen officers. Wikwemicong Tribal Police Constable Caitlin Morgan is representing her police service over the next 2 days. The run began at Queen's Park and will end 460 kilometers away on Parliament Hill in Ottawa. More than 300 law enforcement professionals, as well as members of the survivors of the law enforcement group, will be running. Indecent act still to come on CTV News at 6. We head to Sault Ste. Marie, where a man is facing charges. But first, we are going to head to Timmins. There's a live webcam of Gillies Lake. This is courtesy of the city of Timmins. It's 21 Celsius. We are back after these commercial messages.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
A 60-year-old man has been charged after exposing himself at a public park in the Soo. Police were called to a park in the area of James Street and Albert Street West around 6:15 yesterday evening. The investigation revealed the accused had intentionally exposed himself in the presence of children and adults. The man now faces charges of indecent exposure. Police in Wikwemicong, with support from the OPP, netted $18,000 in drugs and cash yesterday at a residence on Lakeshore Road. They executed a search warrant and found cocaine, cash, and a loaded handgun. A 39-year-old woman from Wikwemikong and a 21-year-old man from North York face several drug and weapons charges. A 63-year-old and a 66-year-old from Wikwemikong were also charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking. And a man in Timmins is facing more than 24 criminal charges for a string of violent incidents. A 26-year-old was arrested after several violent incidents, some involving a sawed-off shotgun. According to police, he was arrested on September 21st and charged with offenses that began in late June. The incidents included reports of shots fired, weapons complaints, and assault. You can read more on this and all of tonight's stories on our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. It's been just a few days since Sault Ste. Marie MPP Chris Scott was removed from the Progressive Conservative Caucus. Tonight, we are looking into how this may play out and what difficulties he may face if he stays on the job. A political science expert gives insight to CTV's Corey Nordstrom.
Expelled from Ontario's Progressive Conservative Caucus on Monday, the future for Sault MPP Chris Scott is unknown from a legal and political perspective. Focusing on the latter, we speak with a political science expert from Toronto Metropolitan University. Due to the self-governing ways of the provincial legislator, Dr. Tom McDowell states that unless Scott resigns, it regulates its own conduct.
The first way is through what's called a process of expulsion. So a member can actually be expelled from the legislature through a majority vote. However, it's important to note this is an extremely rare process.
The more likely scenario is with censure that has been seen in Ontario as recently as 2023 with Sarah Jama.
Censure is essentially a process through which, through majority vote in the legislature, members are restricted from either speaking or voting in the assembly.
With his legal matter yet to be addressed, another option could also force out the Sault MPP.
If a politician is convicted and sentenced to an indictable offense of more than 2 years, they must vacate their seat according to the criminal code.
Should Scott choose to stay on as an independent MPP, he can remain in the role until the government dissolves the House for the next election in either 2028 or 2029, according to McDowell. But there will be some major changes that may impact his ability to represent the riding.
One of the major impacts of being removed from his party caucus is that he loses the support, the infrastructural support that comes along with belonging to a party. And so that will mean less access to financing. That will mean less access to the party apparatus that essentially supports MPPs.
Scott's constituency office has been closed to the public since Monday, say neighbors. His removal from the PC caucus does not impact the office as it's paid for by the Legislative Assembly. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
The controversy over speed cameras continues today. Some drivers hate them. Others say they understand why cameras are needed. In recent months, Ontario has been ground zero for attacks and vandalism targeting speed cameras across Toronto and Ottawa. Now, Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who is not a fan of the cameras, is announcing plans for legislation to outright ban them in his province.
Instead of punishing people retroactively with speeding tickets days or weeks after the fact, we're supporting practical, proactive traffic calming measures that stop people from speeding in the first place.
Ford said he hopes to replace speed cameras with new flashing signs, speed bumps, roundabouts, and curb extensions. In Sudbury, Mayor Paul LaFive still backs the speed cameras around the city.
We're getting calls from folks that saying we want speed cameras in our area because we're aiming for school zones to make our kids safe, as well as areas where people can't even get out of their driveways because the people are zooming by. It's a 50-kilometer zone, yet they're going 80 and 90.
And Premier Ford says later this fall he will support shutting off speed cameras. Major changes are coming to address the existential challenges facing Canada Post. Today, the federal government announced it has instructed the Crown Corporation to start transforming how it operates. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more from Ottawa.
We learned today that Canada Post is effectively insolvent, and the situation facing an institution generations of Canadians have relied on is unsustainable. So the government is forcing immediate changes to mail delivery to try and save money. How and how often Canadians' mail is delivered is changing. Today, the federal government directed Canada Post to end door-to-door delivery, lifting the decade-old moratorium on community mailbox conversions.
I want to be clear. Canada Post has an obligation to serve all Canadians in every community in Canada, and that will not change.
While 3/4 of Canadians already receive mail in a communal location, within the next 9 years, the remaining 4 million addresses will stop seeing mail carriers at their door.
Canada Post will inform Canadians as they go.
Citing reduced demand, Canada Post is also being told to lower its letter mail delivery standard, meaning instead of it taking between 2 and 4 days for small deliveries, it could take up to 7. And changes are also coming to rural post office operations, as recently recommended by an industrial inquiry.
These measures will help stabilize Canada Post's financial situation by generating close to $500 million per year.
Since 2018, Canada Post has lost more than $5 billion and is on track to lose close to $1.5 billion more this year. And stalled labor negotiations between postal workers and management have exacerbated the crisis.
Issues that they
Despite the minister's hope this move could bring both sides back to the bargaining table, the union is already sounding alarms about job cuts.
We're not going to take that laying down. Instead of improving the service, they're going to cut the service, so there's going to be nothing left of it.
The government says while it is removing barriers to reform, the corporation also needs to reduce costs and review its management structure. In a statement, Canada Post said it welcomes the changes and vowed to work with urgency to implement them. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
You know what they say about Canada Post. It's like the weather. You can't stop it. Here we go, our forecast radar for the next little while. Chance of precipitation for this evening into tomorrow as well. We do have some sunshine in the forecast. We'll get into that in the 7-day forecast. You're going to like that a lot. Let's begin with our temperatures right now. In Moosonee, 25 sunshine. Cochrane, partly cloudy at 21. Timmins, sunshine 23. Mainly sunny skies in Kapuskasing this hour at 24. Sunshine, Chapleau, Wawa, some light precipitation, some drizzle there at 14. 18 in the Sioux, mainly sunny skies. Parry Sound this hour, partly cloudy at 20. Meanwhile, North Bay, 24 sunshine. Temiskaming Shores, 26 in sunshine. 23 Kirkland Lake, sun and cloud. Greater Sudbury, Nickel Belt, 26, partly cloudy. Cloud cover Espanola, Elliott Lake as well, and mainly cloudy in Gore Bay at 24. Don't forget your 7-day forecast, Tony, is coming up.
Thanks, Rick. More trade talks next on CTV News at 6. Prime Minister Carney is in the UK talking trade and then meeting with Ireland's leader. And a Canadian man is shot and killed during a golf trip in the United States. The Carney government's upcoming fall budget due in early November is expected to increase the deficit. That's according to Canada's budget watchdog, who is out with a new report today. Interim Parliamentary Budget Officer Jason Jacques says the deficit is likely to rise to $68.5 billion this year, up from $51.7 billion last year. Today's report acts as a baseline estimate of the government's finances ahead of the Liberals' fall budget expected November 4th.
When you look at the deficit of Canada, a large part of that is in response to what has happened, not by choice, but we had to be there for workers. If you're in the auto sector, the steel industry, in the forestry industry, you expect your government to be there. You also expect the government to be there to shift the economy. So we need to be shifting our industry for the economy of the future and at the same time building partnerships. So Canadians understand that what we're saying is that we're going to spend less so we can invest more.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mark Carney is heading back to the United Kingdom today for more trade talks. Carney will be in London from Thursday to Sunday. Carney will also be in the UK for a pivotal moment in Canadian sports when Canada takes on England in the Women's Rugby World Cup Saturday. Before heading to the UK, Carney is meeting with the leader of Ireland today. While in the UK, Carney will also meet with the leaders of Australia, Spain, Denmark, and Iceland, hoping to bolster trade partnerships in light of the trade war with the U.S. A Canadian man from Stouffville, north of Toronto, who was living in Pennsylvania, was gunned down while on a golf trip to Wisconsin. Giovanni Michael Robinson was in Sheboygan Falls when he was shot in a commercial part of town. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more on how the family is coping.
5 weeks ago, Mike Robinson and his wife Rachel welcomed their first child, a baby girl named Farah, into the world. On Wednesday, the 32-year-old father experienced another lifetime event, sinking his first hole-in-one at a Wisconsin golf course he dreamed of playing at with friends and family. One of his first phone calls after draining the shot was to his brother Jacob back in Canada.
That phone call is just, it's playing in my head. Mikey! Mikey!
A few short hours later, Robinson was murdered.
A subject who was shot and is not conscious, not breathing.
It's the worst phone call I've ever had, yeah. It brought me to my knees.
Robinson had just wrapped up dinner with some of those he'd golfed with that day. His family believe he was walking to his hotel in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, when the young father was shot. Police believe the suspect was driving a small, dark-colored SUV.
My brother was one of a kind, and he touched a lot of people's hearts.
Speaking to CTV News from Pearson International Airport, on his way to bring home his brother's body, Jacob Robinson wants Canadians to know his brother's life story.
He was my best man, and I always joked around that, yeah, he was my little brother, but he was my big brother to me. I looked up to him in every aspect of life, and he was a true gentleman.
Robinson, a skilled hockey player, was drafted into the OHL, played in the ECHL and in Europe, and was now living in Pennsylvania, where he worked for a golf company. Robinson was scheduled to fly back to Canada next week for his sister's wedding, which is now being postponed.
My sister's wedding is going to be now my brother's funeral.
Jacob has now assumed the responsibility of keeping Mike's memory alive for his young daughter, Farah.
He loved her so much, and he loved his family.
Mike Robinson's immediate family have all arrived in the U.S. His father says they're expecting autopsy results tomorrow morning. They want to thank Canadians across the country for their prayers and their support. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Stouffville, Ontario.
The RCMP has charged 7 people from the Greater Toronto Area in connection with what it calls one of the largest known drug trafficking operations conducted on the dark web in Canadian history. The RCMP describes the dark web as a hidden and encrypted part of the internet that is not accessible by regular search engines. It is used by criminals to conceal their identity and evade law enforcement. The criminal enterprise was allegedly responsible for shipping 400 packages of drugs a week across the country. Police seized various narcotics, including cocaine, meth, heroin, and ketamine. The group was identified on the dark web under the brand Ryma, and authorities in Canada were first notified by police in Germany. The accused have been charged with various drug trafficking-related offenses. All right, shifting gears, more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Tony, I just want to say that Wile E. Coyote never did catch the Roadrunner while watching the cartoons each and every week. I kept on hoping maybe one of these days. It just never happened. Forecast radar, here we go. Some precipitation moving into northeastern Ontario again. Chance of showers once again this evening. Chance of showers for tomorrow. And again on the weekend, we've got the chance of showers 30, 40, 50%. And then we've got sunshine. So again, let's keep our fingers crossed for a spectacular Sunday, the first full day of sunshine. Here we go in Sudbury, chance of showers, drizzle. Sault Ste. Marie, drizzle and rain. Timmins, chance of showers. Temiskaming Shores, showers, drizzle. North Bay, showers, drizzle once again. As for the percentages, well, I'll let you decide. Showers in Moosonee, Kapuskasing-Hearst, chance of showers. Wawa, chance of showers. More of the same, Gore Bay and Parry Sound. Now to the forecast for the next couple of days. You'll like this. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, chance of showers for a couple of days. Forget about it. After Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've got sunshine in the forecast. 24, 23, 19 degrees, all above normal. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of showers for 2 days. Then come Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Sunshine in the forecast. Your temperatures 23, 22, and 20. That trend continues above normal this time of the year, hovering around 15. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of showers at 60%. That's a pretty good bet right now for Friday, Saturday. 18 and 20 the highs. Then sunshine Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 23, 21, 18, and 19. But there always has to be a but somewhere. Take a look at the evening temperatures, 4, 2, and 3 degrees. It's going to cool off starting Monday. How about Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake? Chance of showers, drizzle for tomorrow. Chance of showers Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 22, 21, 20, and 19 with the sunshine. Again, those temperatures, a bit of a drop come Monday, even more so Tuesday and Wednesday, 4, 1, and 2. It's going to be cool at night. You may have to throw an extra blanket on the bed. North Bay and West Nipissing. Here we go. Chance of showers, drizzle tomorrow. Chance of showers on Saturday at 40% at 21. Then we go with the sunshine on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I love this streak here. 23, 22, 20, and 19. 4 degrees on Tuesday evening, so keep an eye out on that. Then 6, the nice weather will continue, but a rather cool evening. That's our forecast. Let's have a look at the pick of the day now. This is a great shot, or 2 or 3. Ziane Tremblay from field. Sturgeon River. Infield, of course, she gets the shots, and again, you can see the fog in the morning, you can see the cloud cover in the water, and a lot more, so she provides some great shots. I appreciate that, Ziane, so keep it coming. Stick around. Tony has more news coming up after the break.
Yes Theatre's latest production, Casey and Diana, is opening this evening in Sudbury. The play is about Princess Diana visiting Casey House during the AIDS epidemic in 1991 in a fictionalized, humorous way. To tell us more, let's bring in the director, Robert McQueen. He joins us from Sudbury. Hi there, Robert.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Give our viewers a sense of the play and the Princess of Wales' visit to Casey House.
Yeah. The play is written by a Canadian writer, Nick Green, and it was developed at the Stratford Festival. It premiered there. And since then it's been done across the country. A lot of regional theaters are picking up on the work. It's a piece that really examines the 7 days leading up to Diana's visit in 1991, and focuses on two of the people who were patients at Casey House, and 2 of the caregivers, and then one of the patient's siblings. So it's a really beautiful examination of that time, what was happening at that time, and I think Nick was really inspired by the sort of Diana effect that she had during that time. She was one of the first sort of globally famous people to actually touch people who had AIDS, and she really changed how people viewed the illness. So it's a beautiful play. It's a Canadian setting, a Canadian story, and it really does kind of give us a sense of what that period of time was like.
Robert, you talked about Stratford. Any pressure putting on this production in Sudbury?
No. I mean, for me as a director, no. I try to, if I've seen a production and I'm then going to go direct it, I try to erase everything I saw. Like I like to just start from scratch. And I think as a director, the most important question I can ask is, what is the playwright's intent in writing this piece, and how can I try to fulfill that through the production that I'm doing? So, yeah, no pressure.
Okay, good to know. Any sense as to how many people are in the cast?
Yeah, it's a very small cast, or relatively small cast. It's 6. And it is, the nice thing about this production, there are multiple locations in the production, and we've created a design that allows all of those all of those locations to function simultaneously. So a character can leave one room and go to another room and be involved in a sort of secondary action. But I'm always interested in what are people doing before they enter a scene, what are characters doing before they enter a scene or after they leave. And this multiple location allows us to explore that.
Robert, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Break a leg.
Thank you.
Robert McQueen joined us from Sudbury. And to learn more about the troupe's latest production, head to yestheatre.com. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and as it comes to a close, the hospital in Sudbury recognized the courage of children receiving care and their families today. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
These are some of the faces of children fighting cancer in the Northeast. My child's name is Gino Leclerc, and he has pleural pulmonary blastoma. It's a super rare childhood cancer. Essentially, he had a tumor in his lung, and it's very aggressive, and it kind of takes over.
Julian first got diagnosed in 2022. It was really reassuring because I knew some of the faces around here. We did have to spend a lot of time at Sick Kids in the beginning, but coming home was always a wonderful thing.
Dr. Sean Murray has worked in pediatrics at HSN for 25 years and says it used to be that most patients would have to spend the first month of treatment in Southern Ontario. Now, he says, for the most part, many can receive up to 50% of their entire treatment locally.
That's because there are just some things that we can't do with the resources we have in terms of the intensivity of the treatment and the specialized nature of some of the actual supports that are required, like surgically, radiation, even some of the inpatient chemotherapy needs we can't support in Sudbury. But what it's done is it really has, in the 25 years I've been here, done a huge amount of work in a positive way of bringing kids closer to home for as often as they can be there in their cancer journey.
Murray says HSN is seeing between 95 to 100 kids regularly with varying diagnoses.
Our clinic serves the Northeast, so it's important to know it's a fairly large catchment area. So we saw a kid today that comes from the James Bay coast, so it's quite a ways away, you know. Right now, active treatment children, so kids on chemotherapy, there's 13. Active treatment patients that we are following, there's 21. We see between 60 and 70 patients in what we call aftercare.
The celebration included a visit from local firefighters, growler from the Sudbury Wolves, and children's activities. Both Gino and Julian are currently doing well, but will continue to receive treatment here at HSN. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Registered Retirement Savings Plans, or RSPs, are used by many Canadian families to save for their retirement. But one woman was shocked to see almost $700,000 dwindle thanks to taxes after her parents died. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Last year was a difficult time for Ashley Galley and her Burlington family. Her mother, Jackie, who worked as a nurse, died in January at 62 years old. And in December, her father, Michael, who worked in business, passed suddenly at 63. The couple were high school sweethearts.
We think that my dad passed away of a broken heart.
Gallia describes her parents as hard workers who saved to buy a cottage in 1998 and always put money away in their RSPs for their retirement. 5 years ago, they sold their home and made the cottage their principal residence. When they both died last year, Gallia's mother's RSP rolled into her father's for a total of $715,000. When her father died, the RSP had to be taxed as income at about 50%, and there was capital gains on the cottage. The family had a tax bill of $659,000.
It made me more angry than anything. We've just lost both of our parents inside of 11 months.
Gallia says to avoid selling the cottage, almost the entire amount of RSPs her parents saved had to go to pay the tax bill. She says she and her brother expected some of the funds and were shocked almost nothing was left over.
What happens to the RSP? Maybe there's a better vessel to put that in so that it does pass on to your kids or who you'd like it to pass to.
If you want to do some retirement income planning for tax efficiency, at least by the age of 55 or 60.
Tax expert Evelyn Jack says families should adopt a strategy to reduce the amount of tax they pay, use life insurance, and get advice from a professional to avoid a massive tax bill when a loved one passes.
Take a tax hit earlier on, so they can avoid a top marginal tax rate at death. And in the process, put that money into more tax efficient vehicles, for example, a TFSA.
Gallia says she's still grieving the loss of her parents, but wanted to share what happened to her family to help others.
Other people learn that maybe RRSPs aren't the best option for them, then at least I've done something to be helpful or beneficial, and I think my parents would be proud of me for that.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
It's a major milestone still ahead on CTV News at 6, marking the 50th anniversary of the Franco-Ontarian flag in Sudbury.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
Greater Sudbury has announced its new fire chief today. Rob Grimwood will be joining Sudbury's fire services late next month. Grimwood comes with nearly 30 years of experience in fire services. Almost half have been in a leadership role. He will take on the new director-level position as the city transitions from a combined chief of emergency services model to dedicated leadership for both fire and paramedic services. Today is the 50th anniversary of the Franco-Ontarian flag. To celebrate, politicians, students, and teachers all gathered at the University of Sudbury to raise the historic flag. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Francophones in Sudbury were beaming with pride and excitement as they celebrated Franco-Ontarian culture today.
It's extremely important that we celebrate that diversity of our culture here.
In 1975, the Franco-Ontarian flag was raised for the first time after its creation at the University of Sudbury by a history professor and 3 students.
It goes to show that, the young people who dare to do something and who go and act and are engaged, they can make a real difference.
I'm just thankful to my brother and the others that created the flag and distributed it, that they had the idea to do that, because it is an emblem that encompasses us all.
Gevres says that the flag represents her pride as a Franco-Ontarian, and it's a way of connecting with everyone through the shared language and culture. So today, they celebrated.
We speak French, but we're from Ontario, and we're proud to brandish that flag here in Ontario. And today, well, it's its 50th anniversary, so let's party.
Also celebrated today is that the University of Sudbury reopened this September as an independent French institution.
So for that institution to have been cut out so mercilessly with what happened at Laurentian University, to be able to accept students and to reopen its doors in an official capacity, that's an amazing moment.
The institution and the community has been working towards this for well over a century, so it's actually one of the most significant moments in the history of Francophone Ontario.
Meville said the battle to reopen the university wasn't easy, which is all the more reason to celebrate the achievements of the Franco-Ontarian community.
I said, we'll fight with you on this, and I gave him a flag because when you go into battle, you bring a flag, and I said, I'll bring you another flag when we win.
Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Ontario Lieutenant Governor Edith Dumont is visiting Sudbury, where today she launched a province-wide artistic and community initiative in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Franco-Ontarian flag, unveiled at Place des Arts. It's called Celebrating 50 Years, Shaping the Future Together. The aim is to bring together artists and community members across Ontario, supported by cultural, community, and academic organizations. Together, they'll be creating works of art that officials say will form the foundation of a collective exhibition showcasing the diversity, vitality, and creativity of Ontario's francophonie. Selected projects will be eligible for up to $10,000 in funding, along with mentorship and regional support.
La francophonie in Ontario. So it can be articulated through artistic projects. So this is why we are asking the community of artists to come, meet people, citizens, and foster their energy, foster their will to create something that will tell a story about the francophonie in Ontario.
The initiative welcomes projects of all artistic disciplines. Briefly in sports, 2 northern teams are going to see action this evening in the Ontario Hockey League. Sioux Greyhounds are in Peterborough to take on the Petes, and the Sudbury Wolves are on the road in Windsor to face off against the Spitfires. Both of the games begin just after 7 o'clock. And just a single game last night in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. The Espanola Paper Kings scored 3 times in the 3rd period, en route to a 6-3 victory over the Powassan Voodoos. And 1 game on tap this evening in the NOJHL. The Paper Kings hit the ice again, this time in Sudbury against the Cubs. Puck drop at the Countryside Arena is 7:10. Cinefest has announced the winners of this year's film festival in Sudbury. 16 films were recognized in 17 categories. Outstanding was the only film to win in 2 categories, Audience Choice Award for Best Feature and Outstanding Female-Led Feature Film. We have 4 winners to announce of the CTV Best in Shorts competition. First place went to Mr. Noah and the Second Flood. Second place went to Double, and the CTV Best in Shorts scholarship went to Behind the Screen, directed by Nation North. For a full list of this year's winning films, you can visit cinefest.com. A new trailer is defying gravity while a series is being postponed. David Daniel has those stories in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Here's the plan. I have no plan. Well, I do. Oh, thank God.
The final trailer is out for Wicked for Good, the conclusion of the big screen extravaganza based on the Tony Award-winning musical starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, flies into theaters November 21st.
Apparition miraculeuse, une jeune fille dit avoir vu la Vierge.
Bernadette of Lourdes, the musical, is in U.S. theaters this Sunday and Monday, commemorating the 100th anniversary of St. Bernadette of Lourdes' beatification. More info and tickets at fathomentertainment.com.
It's going to be a coordinated mass attack. Locked and loaded, been planted for months. The hunt has begun.
Not quite. Apple TV Plus has postponed the launch of its limited series, The Savant, inspired by the true story of a woman who infiltrates online hate groups to prevent attacks. It was scheduled to debut Friday. Executive producer and star Jessica Chastain posted on Instagram she's not aligned with the decision to postpone, writing, "While I wish this show wasn't so relevant, unfortunately it is. The Savant is about the heroes who work every day to stop violence before it happens, and honoring their courage feels more urgent than ever." No word yet from Apple on a new release date. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We have some breaking news for you. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers has declared a nationwide strike after today's announcements by Canada Post. CUP-W says its workers are on strike effective immediately, adding the corporation has avoided real bargaining and has repeatedly relied on government intervention over the last 2 years. Starbucks is cutting jobs and closing some stores across North America as it works through a $1 billion restructure. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more on that.
The coffee chain will close an estimated 400 locations it says are underperforming. 900 jobs are also being cut. This is the second round of layoffs for Starbucks. A new CEO is trying to turn things around for the coffee chain, which has reported slowing sales in the U.S. for the last 6 quarters. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.73. West Texas Intermediate is up to 65.20. Western Canadian Select is up $1.48 to 53.18, and the TSX dropped by 24 points today to 29,731. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $8.28, closing the day at $37.49.39 U.S. an ounce. Silver up $1.30 to end the day at $45.18. Copper moved forward 7 cents, and nickel down 4 cents, ending the day at $6.84 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Friday weather.
Okay, we've got lots of sunshine coming up by Sunday, but we do have the chance of showers, Tony, for the next couple of days. Slight chance, depending on where you live, anywhere from 30 to 60%. So let's take a look and see what's going on with some of the conditions. 40% chance of showers and drizzle in North Bay tomorrow, 18. Parry Sound, 21. 40% chance of showers. 40% chance of showers and drizzle for Temiskaming Shores as well. So again, almost similar conditions throughout northeastern Ontario. Greater Sudbury, 19, chance of showers and drizzle. Timmins, rather, 18, and Sault Ste. Marie, 19 as well, with the chance of showers. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. A food bank in Sault Ste. Marie is looking for donations. This Saturday, St. Vincent Place is hosting its annual Big Blue Food Drive to fill the shelves. You don't even need to leave your house to donate. Put non-perishable goods in a box or a bag at your curb by 10 a.m. this Saturday, and the St. Vincent Place volunteers will come and pick it up. If your donations haven't been collected by noon, just let the food bag know by visiting Vincent Place SSM /missed. Finally, students at West Ferris Secondary School have done it again, collecting thousands of pounds of food for their local food bank. CTV's Eric Tashner has the final tally.
There's a spirit of giving in the air as the West Ferris Trojans unload carton after carton from this truck full of food and hygiene items for the food bank.
Makes you feel good. Makes you feel good that we can help the community as a school and do our part.
For one evening a few weeks before Thanksgiving each year over the last 18 years, the students of West Ferris get together, going out into the city collecting donations for the city's hungry.
The radio station back in the day had a contest, and it was all schools were involved in it. It was sort of like a citywide competition, and for whatever reason they stopped doing that, but we continued on with it. Sort of on the calendar, and people know it's coming.
Thanksgiving's busy, but it's still consistent with the numbers that we have month over month.
Around 150 students, teachers, and volunteers were out and about collecting over 10,000 pounds of food items and other necessities, and $350 in cash donations.
That's a big number. We got a few congratulations, a few good lucks, because everybody around the community, the PLMP class, they would hand little papers out saying that we got the food drive coming up.
The North Bay Food Bank is gracious to receive the donation, as the food collected will ensure its inventory is stocked for its food hamper program. The food bank is serving 45 households each session.
The demographic is changing. We had traditionally seen a lot of our seniors and single adult households, but there are families coming now and people that are working and just can't make ends meet.
West Ferris is challenging the other high schools to either match their donations or try to top their number.
Not going to beat us. Not going to beat us.
If your home was missed, you can still make a donation directly to the food bank. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Thanks for watching CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.